and sports.
Holy cow! Yeah! Score! Yeah!
We are coming to you from Guaranteed Rate Field in the city beautiful Chicago, Illinois, where this afternoon WGN Sports presents White Sox baseball as Rick Renteria and his Don't Quit White Sox as they get set to butt heads with Mike Scioscia's Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Hi, everybody, and welcome. With Steve Stone, I'm Ken Harrell. Since we get set to bring you the finale of this three-game set, as you may or may not know, they have taken the first two. And in those first two games, they've had a couple of stars.
We knew Albert Pujols was hurt, wouldn't be playing in the series, but unfortunately Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani are not hurt. They are playing in the series, and they're both tearing it up. Last night, Trout took a fastball. It was from the side, and he took it out of the ballpark in right center field. Then he topped it with a breaking ball that he hit a mile. 2 home runs last night from Mike Trout. He's just been outstanding. Shohei Ohtani, who hits behind him in the lineup, took Rodon out of the ballpark. And for a left-hander, to hit a home run against Rodon is a good trick, and Ohtani did that. There you see what they've done in the series. Ohtani at 3 for 8 with a home run and 6 driven in. Mike Trout 6 for 7 with a couple of home runs, 5 driven in. He scored 4 runs. This is a guy that can do just about everything, and he's a great representative of the game of baseball to go with being one of its biggest stars.
Well, on the bump for us this afternoon is a young man who has really pitched well this season.
Ronaldo Lopez is throwing very well, especially the last 3. His ERA is below 2, and Andrew Heaney goes to the mound for the Angels, and he's a good left-hander. Last 3 times out, Lopez thrown it very well. There's a strikeout from each of his performances. 2 against the Tigers, 1 against the Yankees, and the changeup is getting better. The slider is getting better, and the velocity is still there, and the young man is putting together a very solid year. Andrew Heaney, career-wise against our Sox, in 2 starts, 2.31 ERA, so he's thrown very well. This is a nice battle of 2 young pitchers, both of them putting together nice, solid seasons, and hopefully the Sox will win a game and take a game from the series.
All right, finale of this 3-game set, so sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
Abreu has been out since August, and the Sox miss his bat in the lineup. Manager Ricky Renteria thinks that Abreu may be close to returning to the batting order.
Jose's actually taking some ground balls, doing some sprint work today. He's feeling good. I hope to be able to tell you that he'll be in the lineup tomorrow. So at the end of the day today, I'll have a better idea.
Is it one of those things where you'd like to get him in there, but you're not going to, I mean, you know what he went through, you're not going to rush him?
Yeah, we're not trying to rush him. We just want to make sure that he's actually feels really good about where he's at. And as soon as we are assured that he feels good and our guys and the medical staff feel good about it, then we'll go ahead and proceed.
Sox begin a 9-game road trip tomorrow in Kansas City, and we'll see if Jose Abreu is able to suit up. Stay tuned. The lineups in the first pitch are coming right up. Delivering the fastest internet and best in-home Wi-Fi service. Call or visit an Xfinity store today. Just a beautiful day for baseball. Right in the neighborhood of 67, 68 degrees. The wind very much a factor, blowing out to the right field corner as the Angels come in 2 games under 500. Our Sox come in at 30 under 500, 25 games in back of Cleveland. And unfortunately, they picked a bad time to lose 4 straight because the Detroit Tigers have won 4 straight. Our Sox 3 games out of 3rd place. So we're ready to play baseball on the finale of this long homestand. The finale of the series against these Angels. And the Sox take the field. Let's take a look at how Mike Scioscia is going to line up his Angels for the game this afternoon. Cole Calhoun leading it off in right field, and it's David Fletcher at shortstop. Mike Trout, who's been all everything, is in center field hitting 3rd. It's Shohei Ohtani, who's the designated hitter, is hitting 4th. Then it's Justin Upton, Jose Fernandez, Taylor Ward, Caleb Coward, and Jose Briseño rounded out. This is how Ricky Renteria is going to put the defense out there today. Ryan Lamar is in left field. Adam Engel in center. Ryan Cordell is in right. And then it's Jose, Tim, Yohan, and Matt in the infield, with Wellington Castillo getting the nod behind the plate and Ronaldo Lopez on the hill. Last 3 starts, his ERA is under 2. He's looking for his 6th win. His ERA overall, 4.37. Opponent's hitting 2.44. He has allowed 24 home runs, however. That's what the Angels are going to see today. 60% four-seam fastballs. He'll throw his slider just under 20% of the time. The changeup will be there also, around the same at 16. And the curveball, which he throws pretty much as an afterthought, he'll throw it on occasion, is there at 6%. The umpires for the game this afternoon: Ben May has the plate, Larry Vanover's at first, Hunter Wendelstedt at second, and Chris Guccione is at third. So the Sox go on the road for a long homestand, for a long road trip, Kansas City, Baltimore, and the Cleveland Indians in a 9-game, 11-day road trip. And the Sox will have one more trip after that, the finale, and that's in Minneapolis. So Ricky Renteria would love to see this losing streak come to an end. He'd love to see his team go on the road with a little momentum, and to do that, they're going to have to get to the soft-tossing left-hander Andrew Heaney, whose fastball is coming back somewhat. It's actually been pretty good. So Cole Calhoun strides to the plate. That means we're ready to play baseball in this gorgeous Sunday afternoon. And I'm ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
All right, Stoney, thank you. And before we go any further, I want to wish a dear friend of mine a very happy birthday today, and that is Jason Benetti.
He's getting old. He is really getting old. I think it's 35 today.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, what a great announcer he is, and going to be here for a long time. People are going to love him. Here's the first pitch of the ball game, and that's one of my favorite names in this game, Cole Calhoun. This guy's dangerous. Pretty good hitter. 223 average, but 18 homers and 55 knocked in.
Won a Gold Glove a couple of years ago, so there's not much that he can't do. Got off to a very slow start this year, but lately swinging it well.
Now, field for the most part straight up, bit of a gap out there in left center, and 330 down the left field line, 335 down the right field line, 375 in the gaps, and 400 straight away center here at Guaranteed Rate Field. He gone.
3 pitches, the finale, a high fastball. He throws it right by Calhoun. Good location, good movement. And Ronaldo's not going to lose much velocity. He's going to start out 96, 97. Regardless of when this one ends, he's going to be at probably the same velocity.
So here's David Fletcher. I'll tell you, last 2 games, I watched this kid's reminds me a little bit of Whit Merrifield from Kansas City.
Yeah, he's got a lot of that in him. I mean, he knows how to play the game. Each and every at bat, he has a very good idea what he wants to do.
Pitch just off the plate. Fletcher hitting at 287, a homer. He's driven in 25. And a reminder, your 2018 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate. You can put it on the board with a perfect mortgage from Guaranteed Rate. Experience the difference at rate.com. The 1-2. Got in on him. Ate him up. Well, back in your era and certainly in my era, there were a lot of guys who, for the most part, it was a high fastball league because of the balloons that the umpires wore. But the key back in those days, even though predominantly right-handed hitters were high fastball hitters. So the key, that being an issue, was not throwing the high fastball, but when to throw the high fastball. And that's the reason you were so successful with it. The two things that you did back in your heyday when you won a Cy was you knew when to throw the high fastball and you got it and you threw it.
Well, keeping a hitter off balance to me is the whole key to this, and getting your own rhythm is also one of the keys to pitching. If you don't have your rhythm, you're going to be in trouble.
That's into right field. We got a man there. Yes. But for a second, like Ryan.
Yeah, that was a stop and a start, but eventually on a sinking line drive, he came on and made the play. This ball slicing away from him, but he's able to keep his head still, which is one of the keys as you run to the baseball, and he made the catch.
Well, here's a guy right here who's just about as good as it gets in this game. Mike Trout. Talking with Mike and also Socia before the game. I'll tell you, people don't understand what a big guy Trout is. He's big.
He's big and he's very strong.
And he's very fast too. That's going to be a little Kansas City special right there. Good pitch by Ronaldo.
Well, for only the second time in his career, he went 5 for 5 last night with a couple of home runs and 3 scored. And he's swinging a magic wand right now. He doesn't get much of this, but hits it in a perfect spot, dumping it over the head of Moncada in front of Cordell. And he's aboard with the first hit of the ball game.
Well, Trout with .314 batting average. That'll go up a point. 33 homers, 68 knocked in. Well, those 33 homers, 68 RBIs, I'll tell you, not a whole bunch of guys been getting on in front of him.
No, they certainly don't. What do you think about Tani? You've seen him a few games.
I think he's something special. I think he is something special.
Well, the ball just explodes off his bat.
He's a big guy, 6'4", lean, 200 pounds. He can run. He can throw, but he can't throw now because of that impending Tommy John surgery. He's still swinging that bat.
I mean, he can hit without having the surgery. The thing that's up to him is, does he want to pitch? He's given every indication he wants to pitch. If he does, most likely he's going to have that surgery.
And we'll talk about Michael Kopech's impending Tommy John a little bit later. Yeah, Ohtani is fun to watch. Boy, you know, that's what baseball's built on. 3 issues: great players, tradition, and rivalries.
Well, with 22 stolen bases, been caught only twice. So when he chooses to run, he runs very well.
There's a strike and the count 1-2. Well, it's not many times you're going to see a White Sox club in recent memory have more stolen bases than the Angels.
No, but this has been a running ball club this year.
I love it.
Yep.
I love
They're
it.
very aggressive.
Just got a piece of it. With all the strikeouts that have become a non-issue, so to speak, in this game, it's amazing. So with all the strikeouts, you better have some guys can steal bases for you, especially in close ball games. We have 94 stolen bases. Angels have 79. It wasn't too long ago, remember, Angel Ball Club run you right out of the ballpark.
That's the kind of team that Mike Scioscia would want if he had his choice.
Well, Mike Scioscia, to me, is one of the best managers I've ever seen.
Been good for a long time.
You know, he keeps it simple. You know, it's not rocket science. It's baseball.
19 years in that uni.
He gone. Couple of strikeouts after half inning of play. It's the Angels, nothing, and the good guys coming to bat.
It's Tim Anderson leading it off. Then it's Rondon and Garcia, with Matt Davidson hitting fourth. Castillo, Lamar, Moncada, Engel, and Cordell rounding it out. The Angel defense, and this is how Mike Scioscia runs them out there today, with Upton, Trout, and Calhoun in the outfield. Ward, Fletcher, Coward, and Fernandez in the infield. Jose Brasino behind the plate, and Andrew Heaney on the hill. Heaney 8-9 this year, the ERA 4.16. Last couple of starts, fastball's been a little quicker at 93, 94 miles an hour. There you look at what he throws, and it's mostly sinker curveball.
And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours. As Timmy takes first pitch strike. Timmy hitting it 249, 18 homers, 59 driven in. And that's chop foul. And so let's check out our picks to click. Adam Engel with the fans. Moncada with the crew. Wellington Castillo with Steve, and J.J. Shearer, George Jacobs, David Novak, and all the good folks at Poogie Hyundai in Downers Grove. And also the birthday boy, Jason Benetti. I'm including in there today. And today's picks to click are brought to you by your local Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Audi dealers. Fouls that back.
Heaney actually started his career with the Miami Marlins, then was traded to the Dodgers, but in the same day the Dodgers moved him for Howie Kendrick. Kendrick going to the Dodgers and Heaney coming to the Angels.
Well, we've talked about it probably, well, let's just say 1,000 times in your broadcasting and my broadcasting career about if you're lucky enough to be left-handed and can throw strikes, you can pitch in the big leagues.
And the key, and Heaney hasn't been able to do this, but the key has been staying healthy. If you've established yourself as a left-hander and stay healthy, you can find a job for pretty much as long as you want one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's so sweet. Little duck snort out there in the right field. So good speed aboard. Good pitch by Heaney.
Heaney tries to throw it by him inside, and Tim gets ahead of the bat on it. Bit of an inside out dump into right center field, and he's aboard with good speed.
So here's Rondon.
Tim with 26 stolen bases, been caught 7 times.
Just underneath it. He was close to hitting that one a very long way. As Trout, knowing the speed of Anderson, quickly gets it back in. Here's Avi. Avi at 242, 16 homers and 40 driven in. Takes ball 1. Outfield about equidistant, slightly to the right. Count evens at 1.
That's the one pitch that usually dictates the performance of Andrew Heaney, and that is the straight change. When he gets that over the plate to go with his sinker, he's usually pretty tough. If that is a mystery to him, then he's not all that tough.
Takes him right to the bag. Quick turn. And that'll retire the side. Nothing across after 1, no score.
America runs on Duncan. So today, Jose Ramirez for the Cleveland Indians hit his 30th home run. He's become a member of the 30-30 club, and for the Indians, it's only the 3rd time in history they've had one of those. Grady Sizemore was one, Joe Carter another, and now Jose Ramirez has joined the exclusive 30-30 club for the Cleveland Indians. And what a player he's become, along with Francisco Lindor. When Ramirez moves to second base, that's going to be one of the finest double play combinations in baseball, maybe in baseball history.
Well, the best. He goes foul back. When I say the best, it's always tough to say anything is the best in any sport. Michael Jordan's an exception, of course. You know, you go to Jack Nicklaus. But Vizquel and Alomar, Robbie Alomar's the greatest second baseman I've ever seen. And Vizquel right there at shortstop. But I tell you one thing, Lindor and Ramirez got a chance to top them.
Yeah, I mean,
because of the bat.
They've played Ramirez at second. They moved him to third to make way for Kipnis, but looks like he's going to move back to second. And when he does, that's going to be some double play combination.
Well, you're looking the way Timmy Anderson now is going. His defense the last month is just. If you'd told me he's going to be right now where he is defensively, I'd say you're crazy.
Well, that's the huge difference in his game. I mean, the last 2.5 months, it's been such a dramatic difference in his game. I mean,
well, Moncada's got a ways to go yet.
He does.
He's a work in progress, but with his talent, he should get there. There's no question. And then they got a chance. In my opinion, both Timmy and Moncada going to hit 25, 30 home runs a year. That's pretty good from your keystone.
I don't doubt that, but there could be a move in the future for Moncada. A move as far as position is concerned, we'll have to wait and see, but he's going to hit the baseball. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
He gone up to 3rd strikeout now for Ronaldo.
Ronaldo's fastball is right where it needs to be today. It's lively, some late movement, and it's usually up there at 96, 97. He threw it right by Upton.
Boy, Robbie Alomar could beat you any way you wanted to get beat. With a bunt, with a single, a double, a triple, a home run, a stolen base, defensively. You might, he's in that category you might tie him, but you're not going to beat him. Here's Fernandez, Jose. Hitting at 292, no homers. He's driven in 4. So there's ball 4. First walk. And here's Taylor Ward. Ward hitting at 218, 3 homers. He's driven in 9.
He's only 24 years old, won't turn 25 until December. Was a first-round draft pick. 26th player overall in 2015.
No score, top of the second. If you're just tuning in, finale of this 3-game set. Sox trying to get on the board in this series as there's a strike.
Last night, these ball clubs kept turning double plays. And we've seen one early in this one. This is a nice time for the second one.
That one at 98 just threw him right by him, and he gone.
Ronaldo has a little extra life on the fastball today. That's why there's 4 strikeouts in the early going. And I mean, there's a tardy swing, a little bit late on 98.
Well, the real radar guns are the eyes of the hitter.
Sometimes they can be real late on 93 and square up 98, 99 like they see it, like you're announcing to them that you're throwing a fastball.
There's a strike.
Is there a key for you for hitting a good fastball?
You got to look for it. You're not going to look for the ball and hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Well, that's true also.
There's only one way to be a good fastball hitter. You got to be sitting on it. And like before you hurt your arm, you were a hard thrower. Then when you hurt it, you went to being a breaking ball pitcher, and yet you could still. What were you topping out there? 90, 91?
Well, at that time, major league average was 90 miles an hour. I was throwing right at 90, and it was an average fastball. But with an average fastball, I couldn't let you hit it. I'm not going to let you hit that early in the count. You're going to hit one, but it's going to be face high.
I was getting ready to say it wasn't going to be a strike.
No, that was my show me pitch.
It's deception, and it's delivery, it's hiding the ball. It's Cowart. Caleb, 18th overall pick in the 2010 player draft. Yeah, if you're looking for it, a lot of people, they ask me about that. And I tell them it's not that hard to hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball if you're looking for it. Now, if it's got good movement or something like that, that's a different story. If it's got that little flip at the end, you got a problem. But if it's straight, it's meat. It's just that simple. I remember facing Nolan Ryan a lot. He couldn't get his breaking ball over, so obviously you're going to look for this fastball. And hitting his 105-mile-an-hour fastball was not that hard.
No, in those days, it was dead straight.
Dead straight. Gap out there in right center. But when he started getting that curveball over, it changed the whole dynamic of every at bat. Stay in here. It will. Wellington is there, and that'll retire the side. We go to the bottom of the second, scoreless.
Vukovich. Go to jeffvuk.com or follow him on social media because Nationwide is on your side.
Not many guys have pitched, what, 27 years in the big leagues talking about Nolan Ryan. 27 years and still throwing higher 90s.
That was amazing to me. Was no concession to the aging process,
No.
1 iota for Nolan Ryan. He was a power pitcher when he started. He went out as a power pitcher. Pretty amazing.
Well, Christine O'Reilly Reardon to me is another person that defied the aging process. I'm telling you what, she's an amazing lady.
Well, look, she looks better than Nolan. I just don't think she can throw as hard.
No, she can't throw as hard. But she got a good change.
But she looks a lot better
Oh,
than Nolan does.
You know, I met her in '82 when I first got here. Drysdale and I came here.
She looks about the same today, doesn't she?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it. And she heads up our White Sox charities, which all of you out there know what great work they do in our community. Millions of dollars have been spread around our community from White Sox charities. No, but Nolan he became better as he got older, when he started getting the curveball over. As catcher.
Well, I think Bersenio wants him to appeal to Larry Vanover. He believes he caught the ball.
Yeah, before it hit the dirt.
Right. He thinks he caught it. He knows it was tipped, but he thinks he caught it. And what Mike Scioscia is asking Ben May is just get an opinion from Vanover. Now, we saw a lot of dust kick up there. No, that ball hit the dirt.
You know, Scioscia, we were talking about him a minute ago, and I've seen hundreds of managers in my career over the years, hundreds. There's only been about 5 or 6. And I said, man, I'd like to play for that guy. Man, that'd been fun playing for that guy. Billy Martin was one. Billy is, you heard me say, always tried to trade for me. So, but 2 of those 5 or 6, actually 3, are in our city right now, of those 5 or 6.
Well, I know you like Mike.
Scioscia's one of them. I'll tell you who else is one of them. Rick Renteria.
I think, well, you were going to hustle down the line. You wouldn't hear from Rick.
That's right.
As long as you hustled down the line, you wouldn't hear a word from him.
Every one of those managers I'm talking about had that quality. You better bust your butt for him. Another one is Joe Madden. I'd love to play for Joe. Fun to play for. All you got to do is hustle. And the other one's Ozzie Guillen. I'd love to have played for Ozzie. I'll tell you another guy who's worked his way close to that for me is Bobby Melvin.
I was just going to mention Bob Melvin out in Oakland because he's finally starting to get the acclaim he should have gotten all the way along. But he's a terrific manager. Yeah.
I'm telling you, he's a good one. Bruce Bochy. Uh-oh. Jose. Bersenio, you don't want to do that too often.
He went out to throw that around, and that ball was off the plate, though.
Here's the payoff. Got him.
The final dollar hot dog day of the baseball season is the Wednesday coming up, the 26th, Wednesday, September, the final dollar hot dog day. Our Sox take on the Indians at 7:10, brought to you by Securian Financial, who can help you make every moment count. Find out more at Securian.com. For tickets, visit WhiteSox.com/dollardogs today.
So here's Wellington. That's into center field. They got a man there, and he can. Anything in his vicinity, you can put it in your pocket.
Yeah, you're not going to see him misjudge too many. That was a sinking line drive, hit well by Castillo, but Mike Trout right there to make the play.
You know, I've only seen him in all the time that we have seen this guy play in a lot of games. I've only seen him get one bad break on the ball, and that was out at the Big A in Anaheim it was like a twilight type.
Yeah, the visibility is real bad there.
Yeah, that's the only time I've ever seen him not get a great jump on the ball. That one play. Ryan Lamar.
Ryan Lamar this year against left-handers has torn him up. He's hitting .351 against lefties.
One thing about him, he started off a little slow, but he's made his presence known lately.
Both ways with the glove and the bat. He's had some very good at-bats against some pretty tough pitchers.
That 4 RBI night he had against the Tigers, that was something like that for your confidence. Just takes it to another level, puts another brick in that foundation.
And he's been up and down, up and down, up and down this year, but he comes back each and every time with a great attitude, hustles, and makes his presence known in the lineup.
I'll tell you, this guy pitching for them, Andrew Heaney, he's the kind of left-hander he would have had no problems with me. None.
Well, he's got a good straight change, and he can pinpoint that fastball, and it moves, it sinks.
He would have had no problems with a Hawkaroo. That pitch called a strike. And that'll do it. Fans, that's Eddie Olczyk. Eddie,
Hawk, Stoney, great to be with you guys.
I'm telling you what.
I had to come up and say hello and thank you and wish you nothing but the best on the back nine. How's that? How's that?
I'm on 17 right now. I tell you, forget about the back nine. But you know, the toughest thing that I am having to go through is finding a routine.
Yeah.
And of course, Eddie went through a situation right there with some stage 3, was it?
Yeah,
colon
stage 3
cancer.
colon cancer. Yeah.
And
yeah.
we were just talking about it. Eddie, a great competitor and a tough guy. And he walks through that thing for all you out there who are having some problems. And he got through it.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, Hawk and Stoney, and I thank you guys publicly again for the support, the text, the video you did for me, Hawk, the call, the text. It means a lot. And I think sometimes people don't know, what to say to somebody that's in a battle or is down. But we'd rather have you reach out and let somebody know you're thinking about them instead of just going, well, I don't want to bother them, or, I don't know what to say. Sometimes, look, the world we live in now, just a text, say, hey, we're thinking about you, head up. And I had so many people that did that in this city, and I couldn't have done it by myself. And look, my wife of 30 years was right there every step of the way. And one thing that we've learned a lot about this battle, whether it's cancer or anything else, is that those caretakers are going through a lot as well. Maybe not the physical part of it, but the mental part of it. And we got to make sure that we're taking care of those people that are helping the people that are sick. So I feel good. I got my second checkup coming up on Wednesday, so looking forward to having a positive result with my doctor.
Well, as you know, there was an awful lot that's popped up in the center by Brasino. As you know, there was an awful lot of love coming your way.
Yeah, I was humbled by it, without doubt, because one day I woke up and, last July, and I couldn't go to the bathroom. That's the reality of it. Next thing you know, I'm having a 6-hour surgery, removing 18 inches of my colon and a tumor the size of my fist. And, it just was like, wow, okay, well, here it is.
Look, Eddie, we've got a very small fraternity here in Chicago of guys who played professional athletics and now guys who are in the media. And having you around, Hawk around, I mean, we're guys that this city is going to embrace, always has. That's the beauty of this city. That's the reason why you and I and Hawk and Jason Benetti and everybody who's worked here just loves it. And again, we're in such a small fraternity that when somebody's affected by what you were affected by, it kind of affects all of us, because we all have either known somebody, gone through it ourselves, or will go through it. Yeah. That's the reality of it. Yeah, so, you reach out.
Yeah, beautifully said. And that really helps, Stoney, that you have the family, right? The broadcast family, the citizens of this incredible city, regardless of what side of town you sit on, what team you cheer for. It really doesn't matter. Is that, look, when somebody's going through a battle, you just want to let everybody know that you're there for them. And learned a lot. Had enough quiet time to last me a lifetime for about 7 or 8 months, but we're on the right side of the sod, and looking forward to another hockey season. Yeah, it was a tough season for the Blackhawks last year, but training camps later this week, which is really hard to believe. The weather has, I know this, the weather has changed, so it must be that pucks will be flying around here on WGN, good old Channel 9, coming up really soon, so I get to be with my partner, the great Pat Foley, again on a regular basis. I'm looking forward to getting back doing what I love to do, and it'll be a lot of fun to get back in the booth on a normal basis.
Well, boy, I'll tell you what, you and Pat are in that category. It's hard to say anybody's the best. You might tie them, but you ain't going to beat them. You're not going to beat them.
Well, look, I mean, this is a tough booth to compete against each and every day, and we love what we do. And as you guys know, it's a 3-hour commercial for the team, for the game, for the sport, for the city, and we're out there to entertain, but also to tell a story and not be the story. But it's a great chair to sit in, and then I get an opportunity to work the national games as well with another Hall of Famer and the great Doc Emmerich each and every Wednesday or Sunday during the hockey season. So I'm really looking forward to it. I had a lot of rest last year. I had way too much rest going through what I went through. Usually I do about 120 games a year in a hockey season, but last year I only did about 45 because of the battle with the stage 3 colon cancer.
How are our Blackhawks going to be this year?
Yeah, well, that's it's probably the $30 or $40 million question, Stoney. I think the biggest question mark is what's going to happen with Corey Crawford. He got hurt last year right before Christmas time. We haven't seen him since. Training camp, like I said, is going to open at the end of this week, and I think that really will dictate a lot. But again, injuries are a part of the game. You got to have other guys step up, but they need some guys to really step up and get back to where they were a couple of seasons ago, because finishing in last place in a division, not making the playoffs is not what this organization is about now, with Rocky Wirtz and John McDonough, Jay Blunk, all the way through to Coach Q. They got to turn it around. But as you guys know, it is such a fine line between winning and losing, and the success that this franchise has had has just been incredible. But what's happened last year and the last couple of years isn't good enough. So I'd expect the bounce back. Is it good enough? I'm not sure, because the division is so good and the Western Conference is so talented.
Well, that's like Coach Q a couple of years told me, that in the playoffs it was the best competition he's ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, and to me, the Blackhawks hockey, if I can come back as such a thing as reincarnation, I want to come back as one of 3 things. I want to come back as Neil Diamond. Yeah. I want to come back as a hockey player, or I want to come back as an eye drop salesman. Because there's a little loop. Stay another half inning.
I would love to. Thank you.
All right. We're still scoreless.
to 97999, and the 300th texter is going to win a $30 gift card. Subway, so much sandwich.
Well, you know, you were talking about the front office. You're talking about Rocky and McDonough and those guys. I'll tell you something. You know, I think it was 2 years before John McDonough got there that the Blackhawks were voted the worst franchise in all of sports, every sport. 2 years later, they were voted the best franchise in all of sports.
A renaissance and a half, really, when you really think about where it's come from. Look, and I lived it as a player, Hawkinstone, and the thing I always wanted to do was to bring a Stanley Cup home to my hometown. I got a chance to play here for 5 years of my 16 years in the National Hockey League, and I wasn't able to do that. And you guys know how hard it is to win, and you need the stars to align, and you got to get a little lucky. But what has taken place over there, marketing the team 365 days a year, you know, drafting the right type of players, you know, the fan base is there, and look, it's been entertaining to go to the United Center and watch the games on television and to see all the games on television. So everything that they've been able to do has been such a positive, and to be a very small part of it on the broadcast side has just been absolutely a thrill to see this team do as well as they've done. And yeah, you know what, hey, yeah, there's been some blemishes, but you know, there's going to be some potholes, but I don't think anybody would ever trade in 3 Stanley Cups in 9 or 10 years. What's considered, you know, what has happened here with the Blackhawks.
Well, I'll tell you, to me, as much as I love hockey, to me, the most exciting sports team in all the sports to watch when they're healthy are the Blackhawks. I mean, I wear my Blackhawks jersey, and I wear my Blackhawks hat.
Yeah, it's you know, the one thing I always say, Hawk, is and again, I've always tried to be an unofficial spokesperson for the game, and to, you know, because look, a lot of people in this town didn't grow up with it, and there was a long generation that you didn't know what the Blackhawks were, not just because they were struggling, but you know, you only saw them when they were on the road because the home games weren't on television. But I always try to encourage people. I promise you, if you come out to a game, you will be a fan for life, because it is just such a, I mean, it's a great fan sport, and you really appreciate how great these athletes are. And you know, we were talking in a commercial break, and you were when you were playing in Boston, Hawk, and getting a chance to roll with a guy like Bobby Orr and to see what he changed the game. And now we have players that, you know, that play a lot like Bobby Orr by being able to be a defenseman and skate the puck up the ice. A guy like Duncan Keith, I mean, he changed the game.
He's the
from
Lou
the
Gehrig.
Back end, right? You know?
Duncan Keith's the Lou Gehrig of hockey. I'm telling you, how durable is Duncan Keith?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that's out number 1 as Engels retired.
I tell you what, excuse me, Hawk, but Adam Engel, I mean, I couldn't believe the week that he had when he made those catches out in center field.
Almost made it.
He did. He just lost his glove.
Right.
I mean, I heard you guys the other day talking about you and
probably
Jason.
makes that catch too.
Yeah.
It's been remarkable.
Gosh.
And plus, he's hitting the baseball now. So
that'd be awesome. I mean, defense. Look at hockey, baseball, football, whatever it is. If you can defend, you're going to give your team a chance to win. And I mean, he has just had a phenomenal season.
You've heard me say it before. My first 2 rules of winning baseball at the major league level was, first is you got to catch the ball.
Yeah.
Next is don't mess with Joe West.
I saw him a couple of games. I saw him maybe a week or 2 weeks ago. I forget where I saw it, but the pitcher had a little scouting report in his pocket. Did you have one?
He said he confiscated it. Yeah.
Is he allowed to do? Well, I guess he is.
he thought at that point he was, and so if you think you are, well, then you do. And
your scouting report was in your head,
usually
wasn't it,
we thought about things. We didn't have to write anything down.
Or you had to pull out one of those social devices. Now you take out your BlueBerry or BlackBerry or your iPhone.
Well, back in our time zone, all that stuff was in the manager's head too. He didn't have to look at any sheets or anything.
Yeah. Look at it. It's the same in hockey now. I mean, you got analytics as much as you do in every other sport. So, a lot of times teams base their information on bringing guys in because of, what the so-called numbers say.
Have you found out in your time around this with analytics and all the numbers coming in, that it's affected some players by too much information?
Oh, too much information, absolutely. Yeah. Without a doubt. But again, I think the one thing that, in hockey anyways, the one thing that the numbers don't tell you is who is that player playing against. So if you mentioned Duncan Keith, and he's always going to play against the other team's top offensive guys. Those numbers don't say he's out there against the premier players. Right. So when you have fourth line guys or role players or third set of defensemen, it doesn't say that these guys are playing against other teams' fourth liners and third sets of defensemen. So Joel Quenneville, I think, said it perfectly. Is look, you digest it, you use what you can, but at the end of the day, usually it's here and somewhere a little bit lower when you make decisions, right? I mean, that's what it is.
I said it the other day too. Computers cannot tell what's in a guy's heart,
right,
or what's in how much guts he's
that's
got.
it. Sometimes it is a gut decision, regardless of what it is. So,
hey, old check,
all the
buddy.
best, Hawk. We're going to miss you, but we love you guys too. So
give Pat our love.
I will do that. Okay, great to see you, Stoney.
Eddie,
all the best, man.
Have a great year.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, guys.
Health, providing health care for you and your family. UI Health, changing medicine for good. Learn more at uihealth.care.
Top of the fourth inning. Both pitchers pitching well. Ronaldo, no runs on one hit. He has 5 strikeouts. Heaney, no runs on one hit. He has 5 strikeouts. So here's the man with the only hit, and it was a little soft duck snort single in the right center field. Mike Trout. Last night 5 for 5. 2 3-run homers.
Not a bad night, all things considered.
He's something.
Well, this year against our Sox, Mike Trout has been as good as you can possibly be at 11 for 17, 4 home runs, 11 driven in with 10 walks.
You know, he's one of those guys, you know, the culture is different today. Back when you and I were playing, for guys doing that to a team, he's going to have some problems when he steps in that box. It wouldn't have bothered him. He's that kind of a guy. He could play at any time, any era, and been an absolute MVP, which he's already won a couple of them.
Well, he got hit. He struck out the first time up of the series, and then he got hit in the 3rd inning. That was by Carlos Rodon. And since he's been hit, well, 2 intentional walks and a single in that first game, then 5 for 5, and now 1 for 1. So since he's been hit, it hasn't worked out well for our
No,
Sox.
that's what I'm saying.
They haven't gotten him out.
It wouldn't have bothered him.
No.
You know, there are certain guys, when you and I played, as he gets him right there, he didn't particularly care for the call. Meanwhile, 1 out. And he's one of those guys that I would not say he gone to Mike Trout.
He thought that one was down and away, but Ben May thought it was good enough. And for the first time in a long time, Mike Trout is actually retired.
You know, I've actually had players, opposing players, come in talking to him. Hawk, do me a favor. If I strike out, please don't say he gone. No, but Mike's one of those guys, you know, when we play, we go over certain guys, like we play the Tigers, go over Al Kaline. Don't throw at him. Don't hit him. Don't upset him. There's a strike to Ohtani. He struck out his first trip. And other guys, you say, hey, first time up, knock him down. Then he'd probably, or drill him, he'd probably go 0 for 4.
There was a few of the guys that if you got it inside, if you let them know that you were thinking about them, you didn't have to worry much about them the rest of the day.
Right.
There's some of those guys.
Outfield about equidistant, slightly swung around to the left. That pitch is foul back.
The way Ohtani comes off the baseball on occasion, he reminds you of Ichiro, although he's got premier power. Ichiro had the same kind of power, he just chose not to use it. Ohtani chooses to use it.
I'll tell you what, I would, if I had to bet on a home run hitting contest, I'd bet on Ichiro.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean,
and he could hit as far as anybody when he wanted to.
We'd watch him in batting practice, and he'd hit 5, 6, 7 balls in a row, 450 and farther.
He could go up on those windows 6, 7 times in a row.
Yeah, he was a tremendous hitter and a tremendous power hitter who just literally chose not to do it.
Wade Boggs, another guy of that ilk. 1 out, and the payoff pitch.
White Sox fans, Sox Fest 2019 returns January 25th through January 27th with ballpark fun at the Chicago Hilton. Score an autograph or a photo with your favorite Sox players or coaches, as well as White Sox greats. It's going to be a weekend of White Sox baseball you won't want to miss. Visit whitesox.com/SoxFest for tickets and more information.
Justin Upton, the hitter, he struck out swinging on a fastball up. First pitch strike.
So what are your first impressions, and you knew him for a very short period of time, about the surgery that Michael Kopech most likely will have to go through?
No, I wanted to get your opinion on it being a former pitcher.
Well, I think he's going to be fine. There's a lot of people who believe that, there's going to be a situation where he doesn't return with what he had before the surgery. And I don't think necessarily that's the case. And there's been a whole lot of players, and just look at one guy that I know you view as one of the great pitchers of all time, and that was John Smoltz, who showed it both as a closer and as a starter. He came back from Tommy John surgery, was every bit as good as he was before he had the surgery. And this baseball is littered with guys very similar to that.
Well, Steve, to show you how great these doctors are in today's sports medicine, especially in baseball with the Tommy John surgery. I was talking to my wife, my beautiful Greek wife, Eris, yesterday, as a matter of fact, about Kopech. She said, what do you think? And I said, honey, not everybody, but probably 95% of these guys come back throwing 2 or 3 miles an hour harder than they were before, when they were healthy.
It's not because it's not the shoulder, because Tommy John surgery is the elbow. It doesn't affect velocity.
Well, the thing I was only pointing to was the timing of it. And I told her yesterday, I said, I'm glad it's happening now, because come 2020, this club's going to be fun to watch next year with a lot of these young players coming up. But starting in 2020, with a healthy Kopech in that starting rotation, when you got Rodon, you got Lopez, and on, Kopech, you're talking about the possibility of having some kind of starting staff out there.
Well, by then Dylan Cease will probably be here, and assuming that he keeps throwing the ball the way he has, this rotation looks to be very solid top to bottom. And then it's a question of where will you avoid the major injuries, because that's something that every team thinks about, something that every team has to deal with, is a major injury to a guy who is either a star or you project is going to be a star.
Well, I've talked to some general managers. I know you talked to a lot of them as well, but I've talked to some who actually are looking for guys who've already had the Tommy John.
Well, look at Lucas Giolito. He was the #1 draft pick of the Washington Nationals. Mike Rizzo knew he was going to go and have arm surgery. I mean, that was it. He was going to have Tommy John surgery, and they drafted him #1 anyway. He had the surgery. Now he's coming back. I mean, Lucas had a very nice year.
Lucas got a chance to be a monster out there.
Yes, sir. And he did talk with Michael Kopech about it, as did Jace Fry.
Jason, another example. And what's happening too is we got such a plethora of talent down there in pitching that some of these guys can be like a Smoltz or be like a Dennis Eckersley, can be converted from a starter to a reliever. Dennis Eckersley, whoa, what a, I think you were with the Cubs when he started relieving, weren't you?
Well, it was probably the last year where he was a starting pitcher, and then he went to Oakland, changed his life around, and became a wonderful closer, as it turned out, because Dennis had some of the best control maybe that ever played the game.
He's got the best I've ever seen.
I mean, the control was magnificent. He'd go a full season, walk 3 or 4 guys in a full year.
And
that's all
probably
he did.
2 or 3 of them where he's going around.
Yeah, so that's, you know, it's he had a remarkable run at it.
Jose Fernandez takes that up high. He walked with one out back in the 2nd inning. Yeah, I'm sorry. If it's going to happen, I'm glad it's happening now to get him ready for 2020.
Well, one of the things that people have to realize when they take a look at Michael Kopech and they hear about the 102-mile-an-hour fastball that he threw, when he came up here to pitch, we didn't see 102, but he pitched very comfortably at 97. Now, I know he's capable of 102, and we'll see that again. But he can pitch at 97.
I was just glad to see he was not afraid of a jam, worked himself out of it.
Nope.
But we're still scoreless. It's the home half of the 4th inning. No score. Top of the order, Tim Anderson led off the bottom of the 1st with a soft single in the right. And I'll tell you what, Andrew Heaney has acquitted himself very well through the first 3. There he just throws him a nice little change up. There's good movement on it. Up and away. It's moving away for a strike. That's the short. I was talking with some of the Angel people. They were talking about what you and I have heard before about Andrelton, shortstop.
Simmons? Yeah, he's a wonderful player.
They say, look, we know Vizquel was great, but they say Andrelton is just as good defensively with the glove, and he's got a better arm.
Well, he does have a magnificent arm. I mean, when he was pitching, he was timed at 95 miles an hour, and The arm is a cannon. Plus, this year, he's hitting up close to 300. I mean, that's remarkable. He's always been an elite defender. Now he's an offensive player to go with it.
That's low. Simmons also 11 homers, but 70 RBIs. So he's not afraid to hit in the 7th, 8th, or 9th inning because you don't drive in 70 just in the first 6.
No, he's been a terrific player in every aspect of the game. Plus, he can run.
There's a strike. 3-1 to count. It's full.
We'll take another look. Rondon thought it was out of the zone. Ben May did not agree.
Rosinho also thought it was out of the zone. Meanwhile, Rondon is gone, 2 down. Here's Avi. Avi 0 for 1 hit into a double play.
That was a good one to hit. It was a floating breaking ball that stayed on the outside part of the plate. Great pitch to hit to right center field, but Avi fouled it back.
Well, I'll tell you what, from just looking at Heaney, he's got a 4-seamer, 2-seamer, breaking ball, and a changeup. And he's pitching up and down and in and out. So that'll tell you why we have no runs on just 1 hit.
I mean, when he's been able to stay healthy, he's a quality major league starting pitcher. But health has been a big problem with him.
Another strikeout.
Lost the first round of the playoffs on Friday, but still had a successful year, winning both halves of their season. Team leaders in doubles for the Dash, Gavin Sheets with 28 of them, Blake Rutherford at 25, then Yermín Mercedes Luis Gonzalez, Taekwon Forbes, and Jason Irizarry. So a lot of doubles for the Dash this year. Omar Vizquel had himself a pretty good ball club. Unfortunately, they got swept in that first round.
So here's Taylor Ward leading off the top of the 5th. Taylor, a strikeout victim. Both pitchers with 7 punch outs. And there's first pitch strike. Now feels slightly to the right. Now, one thing about Ben May, he's been consistent today.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to give you that pitch that's a little off the corner. Maybe a touch low, but he's called it consistently. He'll stay there, and as long as he calls it consistently, he's not going to hear a whole lot from the players.
That's all you want. Now tip hung on to by Castillo. He gone.
So you mentioned something, and it was in pertaining to Mike Trout, one of the stars of our game. And there's lots of stars from various teams. You said that, and I've heard you say it before, about how this game and one of the things it's built on is its stars. With that in mind, do you think we'll eventually go back to a balanced schedule where guys like Mike Trout, instead of 1 series a year, will come in 2?
Stoney, I don't think there's any question about it. You know, as I said, baseball's built on the 3 things. Great players. And of course you want to expose those to as many cities as possible. Plus there's going to be, it'll be a while yet. It won't be in my lifetime. It might be in yours, but it's going to be expansion. It's going to be another team or 2 added.
You think expansion is what will be the catalyst to go back to the balanced schedule,
Yes.
where then you get to see Mike Trout 6 games a year instead of just 3?
Yes, I do. I know one thing. There are certain guys that you, as he gone, 9 strikeouts now for Ronaldo. But there are certain guys that you would pay to watch play, as there's certain guys I would pay to watch play. When you're talking about watching a Mike Trout, I'd pay to see him. Bryce Harper, I'd pay to see him. Albert Pujols, I'd pay to see him. Miguel Cabrera, I'd pay to see him.
Aaron Judge get to see him. I mean, when they come in, you get Sanchez, you got Stanton, you got Aaron Judge on the same club. If they came in 6 times, it'd be nice to see the Yankees more than just the 1 series.
Yeah, I mean, here's what upsets me a little bit, and I know it's a tough job, but I don't think the schedule makers have done a good job with the current system that's in place right now, because if you recall last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years in a row, we played the Cubs 4 consecutive games on a Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night. I mean, that's ridiculous. One of the greatest rivalries in all of sports. And to treat it like that, that's BS. I mean, there's no question about it. And as I said, I know it's a tough job. But I'd rather see the couple that used to make the schedules.
Yeah.
They did a better job than the guys today. I would say that a lot of that, when you're talking about great players and tradition and rivalries, you got to protect. There's a strike. You got to protect those rivals. You got to protect the Sox and the Cubs. You got to protect, you know, the Dodgers and the Giants. You got to protect the Red Sox and the Yankees. Those are some of the symbols of baseball. I would love to see us have to play the Cubs 16 to 17 times a year.
That would mean a changing of leagues and league alignments and
well, that's going to
allegiances.
happen. That's the last resort.
Yeah.
That's going to happen.
I think eventually they will get to that, but we're going to see expansion first, and then
we
can see that.
That won't be in your lifetime either.
No.
But it will happen. Love to see the Yankees and Red Sox bump heads for 16 or 17 times a year. Got the shift on for Cole Calhoun, 0 for 2 with 2 punch outs. Yes! Boy, Timmy just waited. There's your athleticism right there of Timmy Anderson. Waited, timed it perfectly on a run. We're halfway home, still scoreless.
With the help of Tim Anderson. Line drive up the middle. Tim with great timing shows you a little bit of his basketball past. Up about as high as he can go, make the play. When you think of garages, think Danley's.
Our half of the 5th inning. Davidson struck out his first tip, takes ball 1. Castillo and Lamar. Beautiful, beautiful day here in the city. Beautiful. How about the BMW? The golf tournament going on. Day before yesterday, it was heat index of close to 100. Yesterday it was 60.
We can relate to that. We had a little bit of that here.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 days ago, I walked out of the front door. I was going to go hit some golf balls. At Los Dunes, one of the great golf courses in the world. I took about 3 steps, turned around, walked back in. Too hot. Too hot. Ball gets away, so Matty's going to reach first base.
And there's a good break. Brasinho was not able to smother it, and this ball gets away. It's a change. Anytime you try to backhand it, when a guy's swinging at it, that's just not a good habit to get into. And Matt is going to reach first base easily because Brasinho decided that a backhand was better than a little movement and some smothering.
Yeah, not a very good technique. Castillo. Wellington lined hard to Mike Trout, center field. Not going to get it up there, even at 92. And a count 0-2. That one at 93. Watch out. It's a souvenir right side. Off the facade down into the crowd.
One week ago today, we were down on that field as you were giving your speech to the crowd. What was the nicest part of that Ken Harrelson weekend where they honored you down on the field?
The whole process, the whole thing. It was bittersweet. As he gets him upstairs, that's 9 strikeouts. You know, as I said last week, I'd written down some stuff that I wanted to say, and then finally I said, the hell with it. I just tore it up. I said, Hawk, let's just go out and wing it. And when I walked out of that dugout, I didn't know what I was going to say. And I got out there and I looked at my wife. All of a sudden, everything started coming into place. She was like, as she has been for 45 years, the woman who actually literally and figuratively saved my life. As there's a double play ball. No, he beats it. Lamar, he can get it down that line.
Looked like it was going to be 2, but right there, a little bit of a juggle by Fletcher, and then the high toss. So it took a while for Coward to get the ball back down and throw it. And they said he beat the play at first base.
Well, that height of that was just enough to let him beat it. So here is Mancata, but once I looked at Aris, and when I say, to those of you who did not see it, she literally and figuratively saved my life, because when I retired from baseball, I was going into golf and I was failing miserably. And there's a base hit. Attaboy, Yohan. So now 2 on, 2 out. And so what was happening was, because I was failing, it wasn't because of lack of talent. I had all that. You've seen me play.
Yeah.
But I was frustrated, and I was going out at night drinking too much, getting in too many fights. And you do that long enough, somebody's going to kill you. You're going to run up on the wrong guy.
You're probably not going to be quite as good at your chosen profession as you'd like to be either.
And when I met her later on, I said, if I don't stop that, I'm going to lose her. So I stopped. As I said, that was in 4 days, we're going to celebrate our 45th wedding anniversary. So that was the thing that started. And it felt, once they got into it, it just felt natural.
Well, you also had your son Casey there, and his son Hank. You had your 2 grandsons there, Nico and Alexander. You had Krista there, your daughter. I mean, it was a really nice family event that, the White Sox were able to bring everybody together to attend. It was just a beautiful ceremony.
Well, the White Sox, I'll tell you what. The White Sox, take Bob Grimm, Scott Reifert, and those guys. They did it right. They really did.
They did. It was beautiful.
And then the crew from the Sox, the crew from NBC Sports Chicago on that documentary, they were the real heroes of that thing, not me. They did a wonderful job in production of that thing, and the hard work they put into it. I was so proud of them. They were so great to work with. But as I said, it was bittersweet.
But you guys had a lot of venues for that. How long did it take to put that documentary together?
A long time, especially for them, because they got a lot of shots that I wasn't even aware they were going to have in that thing. And then, all of a sudden, one of my favorite players when I was a child growing up, and I never saw him play, because he died on June 2nd, 1941, and I wasn't born until September 1941, and that was a great first baseman. Because there's the movie poster from the documentary at the ArcLight Theater, but that was Lou Gehrig, and I've seen that clip, as you have, over 100 times.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was up there standing there that I really thought that I thought I felt like he felt that day. And he said, today I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth, and that's exactly the way I felt that day, that moment. Pick him up. Come on, Adam. Wow, 10 strikeouts for that left-hander.
Back by popular demand, the Chicago White Sox are offering a limited edition Cancer Ribbon White Sox cap for $20. $10 from every cap sold will support White Sox charities and Rush University Medical Center in cancer research. Caps are now available online and at the ballpark, so visit whitesox.com/rushcap to purchase yours today.
It's the top of the 6th inning, and if you're just tuning in, this game has morphed into what you would call a pitching duel between Ronaldo Lopez and Andrew Heaney. Ronaldo, no runs on 1 hit through the first 5, 9 strikeouts. Heaney, no runs on 2 hits, 10 strikeouts.
Just 3 hits combined. Angels with 1, our Sox with 2, and that's it.
Fletcher is lined to right and popped the second. That one at 95. You know, getting back to Kopech, I like what your comments were when you mentioned he's only throwing 93, 94, but he looks like he's comfortable throwing 93, 94.
He just came up here and was pitching. That was one of the things that we wondered what would happen. We knew eventually he would get here, and when Michael Kopech got here, we wondered if he was going to be able to come here and be a pitcher or try to throw it through his catcher, and it was answered because each and every time he pitched. The secondary stuff was good. He changed location, and he threw it very well.
That's into right field.
So here's a list of pitchers with 7+ innings and 2 or fewer runs. Corey Kluber, as he is on so many lists, is right at the top with 13. Then it's Barrios, Carrasco, and Ronaldo Lopez with 9, tied with Bauer and Monaya. Monaya hurt. Bauer on the DL. And everybody else thrown it pretty well.
So here's Mike Trout. Talked to Mike before the game, got him to sign a couple of balls to my 2 grandsons, Nico and Alexander. And when they came in the booth prior to the game, I showed it to them, boy. Their eyes just
They're pretty
lit
happy.
up.
Yeah,
Oh,
they were
boy.
2 happy kids.
That one at 97. Yeah, but you just think about that starting rotation, partially going to be next year, and then in 2020. That's a beautiful thing to think about. There's a base hit. So Trout with both hits, both soft singles into right field.
He's able to take this fastball, take it the opposite way, and now in a 0-0 game is where you have to worry about Mike Trout stealing second base.
Now feel they're deep, spread out. Trout, decent lead over there. He just missed that one. Thank goodness. Ohtani. Adam comes over, makes the play. 2 down. That could have been a landmarker right there.
Yeah, unfortunately, a little lack of communication till the very end, and then Adam Engel did make the catch as Avi gave way. Adam yelling for it. Able to make the catch, and he popped it straight up. Otherwise, that ball goes 490 feet. Ryan Cordell, rather. He called, and then Engel called, and he gave way.
Here's Justin Upton. 0 for 2, a couple punch outs. Pretty good breaking ball right there. Else. Good movement.
He had him well out in front.
That may have been a straight change.
Yeah.
Good movement, whatever it was. Upton. 26 homers, 77 knocked in. That one at 98.
Well, Upton's fanned 154 times this year, including the 2 today. We haven't seen him swing at and through fastballs as much as we're seeing him swing through the ones from Ronaldo today. I mean, he just thrown it right by him, and it doesn't matter where the fastball has been. He just has overmatched them to this point.
Well, we touched on all the strikeouts that are going on in baseball today. Reggie Jackson was one of the guys that broke that barrier. Let him strike out 150 times. He's going to hit 40 home runs. Well, now that mark has moved up. Let him strike out 200 times.
And he's going to hit 30 home
Yeah, I was
runs.
getting ready to say, and he's going to hit 30. But out in front of that one, change. But something's got to be done about it, because with all the strikeouts that are happening, you're really taking just the worst of it. Yeah, when it's not rocket science to know that there are ways to cut down on strikeouts. Now, will he hit as many home runs? No.
Well, look, in talking about launch angle, you're talking about an uppercut swing. And if you're talking about an uppercut swing, you're not going to be able to catch up to a fastball. Not an upstairs fastball, not a letter high fastball at 95 or above. With an uppercut swing, you just don't catch up to it up there. That's one of the reasons why guys have gone up there consistently with 2 strikes. They're throwing that ball consistently by the hitters.
Well, we're seeing a left-hander out there for the Angels today. He's throwing 91, 92.
Yep.
Up high, and they can't get there on him. No, but something is. I forget what the math was about strikeouts to hits. This might be the first time in Major League history there might be more strikeouts than hits. I think. I heard somebody say that. Yeah, out there in right center. 2 out.
.103 pitches for Ronaldo, and you would expect with a whole lot of strikeouts. I think that's surprising, and I'm surprised Trout hasn't run yet, but if you're Mike Scioscia, you're going to guess slider here. It's a good pitch to run.
And with all the strikeouts that Upton has, leading off an inning is not exactly. You'd rather take a shot at a 2-run homer. There are certain managers before you mentioned, I was thinking about Mike. He knows, Fernandez on deck. A little better contact hitter probably than Upton. But there are certain guys, you take a Scioscia, you take a Bobby Melvin. Hard to second guess those guys. They know exactly what's going on. He might be going here. No. He gone. 10 strikeouts for both pitchers, and we're still scoreless. And we were talking about hits to strikeouts. Well, right now, coming into the day's action in Major League Baseball total, there's only 83 more hits than strikeouts, which is absolutely unbelievable. Bob Vorwall was telling us that it's been going back and forth on hits to strikeouts. That's shanked out there in the right field. Get down, get down. It won't.
Celebrate a memorable moment and the player in White Sox history with A.J. Pierzynski's limited edition blackout game bobblehead. Proceeds benefit a Make-A-Wish Illinois and Chicago White Sox charities. Purchase yours at section 135 or at whitesox.com/AJBobble while supplies last.
I want to get a couple of those for my grandkids. AJ's a piece of work.
Well, he helped save your life the other day.
Don't go there. I had that ball. I had it right here. I'll tell you what. But here's what he was trying. He was trying to make sure that I saw it. He was trying to protect me. But I had it right here. It was right there, and all of a sudden, that big hand comes over and snaps it. Here's Timmy. Hard hit. Taylor Ward makes the play. 2 down. So here's Jose Rondon. He just missed one back in the first inning, and he struck out in the fourth. That's truly amazing when you have a chance. Major League Baseball have a chance to have more strikeouts than hits.
Well, don't forget the month of September, you have a lot of young players up also. That's going to add to the strikeouts you would expect.
That might take it over the hump.
Yeah. Bullpen up and going.
Well, as I told you, the pitching to these guys today, you may have won 30 games that you won 25. 20 strikeouts. John Walgren tells us, and just
4 hits, 2
4
apiece.
hits in this game.
That's it.
Well, I think I struck out 100 times twice. Just made it to 100, and I felt like I committed a mortal sin.
That was approximately like the 4-point ERA. If you got above 4, you're thinking, boy, this is a really dismal year.
Yeah.
Now take a look at it.
And that'll retire the side. We're in the 7th, still scoreless.
Xfinity, and we'll take a look at 3 strikeouts. Ronaldo Lopez had great stuff today. Fastball was pinpoint, was lively, and what a day for Ronaldo Lopez, who will leave with a no decision in favor of Ian Hamilton. There is a look at Ian Hamilton, on for the 4th time. He hasn't given up anything yet. Opponent's batting average just a paltry 100.
Ian out of Vancouver, Washington. Beautiful city. Beautiful. So here's Fernandez, first baseman, a walk. And a comebacker to Lopez. And there's a shot. So the leadoff man aboard. And that performance today by Ronaldo, just a preview of things to come.
That is our VW replay, Volkswagen replay. Visit your local Volkswagen or VWdealer.com. Just shoots it into left field. First ball fastball, and he's aboard.
So here's Taylor Ward. A couple of strikeouts, both swinging on fastballs from Ronaldo.
Ronaldo's day is done at 6 innings, no runs on 2 hits. He walked a pair, actually walked 3, and fanned 10 strikeouts. Heaney's got 11.
Nice pick by Matt. Fell back. Another thing we mentioned, if you're just tuning in and did not hear, we touched on it earlier about Lopez getting it and throwing it.
Yeah, today, well, he got so very few people on, he didn't take a whole lot of time, and he had in very good rhythm. Castillo kept him in that rhythm all day long, and he just kept on pumping strikes.
Tempo, rhythm, critical. Gabby Hartnett, Hall of Fame catcher, said the most important responsibility that a catcher has is to get his pitcher into a rhythm and then keep him there. Regardless if you take a foul tip off your shoulder or wherever, get the ball back to him, give it to him, let him go. Guys you're very familiar with. We've talked about him before. Great Thurman Munson. He'd get it back to you. Catfish, I was talking, Catfish Hunter, Hall of Fame pitcher, one of my all-time favorite teammates. After his first year with the Yankees, I asked him about Munson. He said, "Hockey's terrific. He gets the ball back to me." Catfish wasn't as quick as Burley, but he was close. That's a fair ball. Nice pick again by Matty. 1 out.
Matt Davidson keeps this one out of right field, and that could turn out a critical play in the game. Ball's in fair territory, consequently, fair ball. And a good, solid pick by Matt Davidson.
Yeah, that's vis-a-vis Konerko right there.
That one gets away. They're going to run for a while.
Paul Konerko, people talk about his home runs all the time. They don't forget he's one of the best defensive players. Didn't have a whole bunch of range, but when he got to it, it was got. Great hands.
He also was on low throws. He saved his infielders countless errors.
Countless.
Yes.
I mean, unbelievable amount of errors he saved for them. Yeah, he's a future Hall of Famer. 432 home runs. And Socia was talking about what a great, before the game we were talking about what a great clutch hitter he was. Yes, he did. Coward. Caleb has fouled out to Castillo and struck out. Quite a contrast for our guys defensively in the second half versus the first half. First half, it was one of the worst defensive halves I've ever seen a major league team have.
Yeah, second half of the season, things got and have been just a whole lot better all the way across the board.
Count evens. 2-2. And it's full. Jose Vicino, catcher on deck. Right-handed hitter.
There's still a few games to take advantage of the Bleachers and Brews. Get one bleacher seat and 2 beers for just $22. You must be 21 and over with a valid ID. Bleachers and Brews is presented by Budweiser. To purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com/brews. And Don Cooper to the mound. He wants to talk with Hamilton. So now Ben May is going to come out. He's going to break this up and want to get back to baseball.
It's the first time all day that the Angels have had 2 men aboard.
That was the dominance of Ronaldo Lopez. As a young man, it's very happy with a gorgeous day in Chicago.
Vicino has popped to center, and he has walked. Nice pick by Wellington. Even though Fernandez has only attempted 1 stolen base, he was successful on that. You never know what Mike Scioscia is going to do. His tendency is if he gets the chance, he's going to run. Boy, I remember that one spring. They had like almost, what, 70 stolen bases in spring training.
No, I mean, if
70 or 80.
When he had the team, he just loved to run. That was a big part of his arsenal: pitching, defense, and speed.
Well, he's the last manager to employ as a night game out in Anaheim that I've seen. That's back out play. 3 bunts in 1 inning to load the bases. That's, you know, that's, as we talked about, the mark of a good manager is not wins and losses. It's the eyes. The mark of a good manager is how hard do his guys play for him? Do they give him 27 outs in a game? Do they bust their behinds down the line when they would little ground ball to the short, or second, or third, or whatever, or pop up? If you don't do it for Ricky Renteria, or you don't do it for Mike Scioscia, you're not going to be in their uniforms very long.
No, there's no doubt that they don't have, neither have a lot of rules. They just want you to adhere to the ones they have. And when you do that, you got no problems with them.
That's one reason that a couple of guys I would love to play. All you got to do is bust your behind.
That's it.
That's all you got to do. Play hard, bust your behind. That's all. Another souvenir right side. That's one reason Billy Martin, God rest his soul, was such an outstanding manager for many years. That was his one rule. You better run hard. Because the only thing you got to do, if you can't make yourself run hard 4 times in a game, go get a job. Yes, he gone. 2 down.
After a couple of sliders, a high fastball does him in.
This man right here is, here comes Ricky. So we're going to have a pitching change.
So Hamilton is going to leave this ball game. And as he does, we will step out and be back after these messages. Weekly stats, roster updates, and more. RBI Baseball 18 is now available. Learn more at rbigame.com. Rated E for everyone. And Caleb Frere comes into the ball game on for the 4th time, so he hasn't been here long, but he's been very busy. He inherits pretty much the game on the bases. Nothing to nothing game. He's got 2 outs, got runners at 1st and 2nd. He's got to deal with Cole Calhoun at the top of the lineup.
Dangerous man. Cole is. Getting back to those rules, though, for managers. Most managers only have 2 rules. Good, I'm talking about good managers. First one is be on time. The next one is bust your behind. And there's a base hit. That man is dangerous. Bad throw. Bad throw. It's 1-0 Angels.
Yeah, that's one of the things that is going to be addressed. I'm sure it has already, and this is something that the Sox have done a whole lot of this year, and that's throwing through to allow the trailer to move into second base. We'll take another look. He gets his fastball, and Calhoun, who's driven in 56 of them, gets his first hit of the day. It's the first run of the day.
Well, he's dangerous. Cole in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning is a dangerous man.
Cordell just airmails it. It's way off line, and the trailer, in this case Calhoun, moves to second base. That's it for Frere. We'll step out. Be back after these messages. Angels lead by a run. On for the 44th time. He's 1-2. His ERA 3.79. We saw him pitch last night for a 1/3 of an inning. And here he is again.
Fletcher 0 for 3, lined out twice to right field. So Ryan Cordell. Takes first pitch strike. If you're just joining us, 1-4-0 for them, 0-2-0 for us here in the 7th inning. And he's going to go out to Ryan once again. That'll retire the side, but they pick up a run. 7th inning stretch. We trail it 1-0.
Birthday to Jason Benetti. Some of the highlights. 1983, he was just a little Benetti. Born on this day in 1983, the White Sox defeated these Angels 11-zip. And that's a complete game. One hitter by Britt Burns. On the same day that Jason Benetti came onto this planet. Then 2004, White Sox defeated Texas. Home runs by Paul Konerko and Joe Crede. And last year, White Sox defeat San Francisco. Jose Abreu hits for the cycle. And here is the 3-base hit. He's chugging along and he makes it. Pretty impressive. All happened on Jason Benetti's birthday.
And once again, a very happy birthday to my successor. He's sitting in this seat for a long time. Jason Benetti. Happy birthday, buddy. There's a shot. That a boy. Avi had a way to lead it off. That's just the third hit given up by Andrew Heaney.
Time now for the IDOT safe play. IDOT reminding you that safe driving habits really are a matter of life and death. And Avi takes it through the left side, representing the tying run. So visit lifeordeathillinois.com.
Getting back to Jason Benetti, as good an announcer as he is, he's a better person. And I guess that says it all about that young man. Here's Matt. He's had some problems picking up the ball off Andrew Heaney. He's 0 for 2 with 2 punch outs.
Just 81 pitches so far. A very good left-handed pitcher.
Let me tell you, as you said earlier, he's not going to overpower you. But I'll tell you what, the way he's doing things right now, he and Vicino are really working well together. He's making that 92 look more like 98.
Yeah, he's throwing it consistently by people today, so there must be a whole lot of deception in that delivery.
Plus, he's pitched inside, changing speeds, throwing strikes, and that's what pitching is. Throwing strikes and changing speeds. Ate him up right there. Good pitch. That's the worst thing that a hitter can do. And the best thing a pitcher can do is hitter, if he's looking inside, he got a very small plate.
No walks, 11 strikeouts.
One of the best performances we've seen all year.
This has been very impressive.
And if you're just joining us, Ronaldo Lopez was just awesome. Not good, he was awesome. 6 innings, no runs, 2 hits, 10 strikeouts. Just a preview of things to come. That's out of play. He's very tardy on that, and it's just 92.
Yeah, 92 letter high, though, is a little bit more difficult to catch up to.
Inside, too. Ate him up with that one inside. There's that changeup. Boy, he got a nice motion with that thing, Stoney.
Yeah, you can't really read it, and that's
No.
one of the reasons why nobody's been on it today. I mean, they have not been on one of them.
Nice motion. Just got a piece of it.
But back to another straight change, and just able to keep the at-bat alive.
I'll tell you, hitters today would, especially guys who are struggling a little bit, they would be well served to get some film of Joey Votto. He's got 4 different ways to choke up on a bat. He's got his normal way, which is about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. Then he's got one with 2 strikes that even goes up more on the bat. Then he's got the third one for guys who are really good. And then he's got the 4th one and final one for Clayton Kershaw. He said he's about up on the trademark for Clayton.
Yeah, when he's healthy, he's as good as anybody around and better than most.
Oh boy, I'll tell you what he did last year in one category was unbelievable. That was absolutely unbelievable. The whole season he popped up 1 time to the infield.
Talk about Joey Votto. He's gone full seasons without popping up.
1 time.
I know, it's absolutely astonishing. Sox at best get a little offense before these shadows move up entirely across home plate, and the visibility becomes really difficult.
Well, you got that right. Get through. Nice play. Can't turn it. But they get Avi.
This one right back up the middle. And that little toss prevented the double play. Up in the air a while for Coward, and he wasn't that close to the bag, so it took a while, and that stopped the rhythm of that.
So here's Wellington. Castillo 0 for 2, a line drive to center, and a strikeout.
Looks like Hector Santiago throwing in the Sox pen.
Outfield slightly to the right. Short lead. That ball hit hard. Watch out, but foul. As hard as it was hit, he cracked his bat. Just think about Maple. You can sometimes just absolutely dead center squared up, and the bat will shatter.
The ball really explodes off the bat, though.
You better believe that. The bats, everything. These things go anywhere from $100 to $150.
Yeah, things have gone up a bit.
Well, in my time zone, they were usually $6 or $7. Nice approach on that changeup. He got it up a little bit, was the reason he could foul it off.
Boys have not been able to read this one very well today. That one just off the outside part of the plate.
One on, one out, 0-2. Flips that one into short center field. Trout coming on, he's there. Boy, man can cover a lot of ground in a hurry.
Pin up and going. Ty Buttrey. We've seen him in the series.
So here's Lamar. Ryan has struck out and hit into a 6-4 fielder's choice. That one at 92 right there. That one at 93.
Heaney's averaging just a little over 6 innings per start, and in this day and age, to average that, that's actually pretty good. This is start number 27 for him. So he's been pretty healthy this year, unlike the last couple of years.
What was the most complete games you had in 1 year?
9.
Gone are the days that Bob Gibson 1 year at 28 and didn't lead the league.
No, that's
Juan Marshall at 32.
Used to be amazing, but yeah, that was, well, you're talking about 1980. It was 250, little over 250 innings. You just don't see much of that anymore.
Well, the last guy to have double figures in complete games was back in 2011. James Shields had 11 in 2011. Stoney had 9 complete games, most he had 1 year. This year in the American League was a total of 25.
It's pretty amazing. I mean, it's just changed.
Well, you know, we were talking about good managers, and I don't know if I mentioned him or not, but another one, of course, who's changed a lot way is Terry Francona.
Yeah,
another guy I'd like to have played for. As he gets him, and that'll retire the side. We're trailing 1-0.
trucks built to serve, and it's Kansas City coming up next. We'll go there after the game tonight. Kick off a 9-game road trip with 3 in KC.
So here he is again. Angels with 4 hits. This guy here has got half of them.
And there is StatCast AI, powered by AWS, and that's where Trout is going to hit the ball. Very rarely will he take it just to right field. He'll pull it hard and take it back up the middle.
Chased him upstairs. He gone.
I think we're at the point now where it's not going to be all that easy visibility-wise.
Yeah, that's the reason I said he gone, because I don't like to say that to a player of his caliber. But it's hard. But we're talking about Francona, one of the great managers. Terry has been over 500 14 consecutive years. In this day and age, that's unbelievable.
I'd say most of the time well over 500.
I mean, today that's unbelievable. It really is.
Right now his ball club is 81-62.
He's got a chance to get to 90 again. But Terry, of course, you know, last few years has had some good talent in that bullpen. Took over for Kansas City and Ned Yost. And boy, he utilized them. And there's trouble. He's going to try. Here's the throw. He's safe. That big man can run.
There is no doubt that there is not a tool that he does not possess. And the only question is, how will he be better served? As a pitcher and a hitter, or as just a hitter? And this is a splitter. He just reaches down, realizing the play's in front of him, and that it's going to take Cordell a while to get to the baseball. It does, and Ohtani able to beat the play at second base for a 2-base hit.
That's going to be an interesting dilemma, but a pleasant one.
Oh, he's got, I mean, the skills are just astonishing.
So here's Justin 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. The last guy to have those kind of skills, be a starting pitcher and then play in the outfield, was Babe Ruth.
Yep.
Don Drysdale was a good hitting pitcher, but he didn't come close to playing any other position. One and two the count. Right now, if you got a decent slider, this would be the time to use it.
It's tough to see a fastball. It's almost impossible to see a slider.
That's it. I mean, if you got a decent slider right now, it's the time to use it.
You can't pick up the spin on the ball, and you're just going to be flailing away with very little contact.
There he goes. Safe. As Upton strikes out.
Rondon wants him to take a look at it. He believes that he got him on the quick tag. This was a nice job of putting the tag on. We don't know exactly if it's going to be successful or not, but it's some high heat for the 4th time. Upton goes down on strikes. And a good solid throw by Castillo. We'll take another look at it. He's got the ball. Now the question is, does he get the spike? It looks like right there the tag is on him and the foot is not at the bag. So judging by that, and again, it's got to be definitive proof, but judging by that, he's going to be out at third base. That's probably our best look at it. We'll slow it down. Now we think at that point the tag is on.
He's out.
And he's out. The tag was on.
And that'll retire to the side to strike him out, throw him out. But we trail it 1-0.
Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/White Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC. And we got a new pitcher in the ball game. It is Ty Buttry, who we saw in the first game of the series. He picked up an inning and threw it pretty well.
I'll tell you one thing, that Mr. Haney, he can pitch.
He was awfully good today.
I wish we had him, I'll tell you right now. Changing speeds, throwing strikes, and it just goes to show you all. I saw him hit 93 a couple times. Most of the time he went from 90 to 92.
That was
fastball, but he knew when to pitch up. And as we talked, Steve and I both have talked for a lot of years to all you youngsters out there in high school and college, aspiring pitchers, especially if you're left-handed. You don't have to have a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. You don't have to have a snapdragon curveball or a great slider. If you can spot your fastball and you got a good changeup, you can pitch in the big leagues. What a nice job by Andrew Haney out of Vancouver. Here's Moncada. Yeah, that boy. Upton gets to it. He'll get it back in to hold the on to a single. And we'll have a moment. There's one of the better announcing teams in all of baseball right there. Mark Gubazal. And of course, Victor Rojas. They are two outstanding announcers and two outstanding players. Gubazal, former 20-game winner.
And Gooby was a really good pitcher.
Squares the bunt and takes the ball. Adam 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Yeah, Gooby's all had that natural sinker, that good one, and threw hard.
And a real unusual motion.
Yeah. That'll get the job done. Good boy, Adam. So we're going to have a pinch hitter for Ryan Cordell.
Perfect sacrifice. As Engel lays it down for the 7th time. 7 sacrifices for Adam Engel.
Well, you're going to see a little different brand of baseball going forward. You're going to see is Daniel Polka will be hitting for Cordell, but you're going to see a lot of going back to bunts, hit and runs, stolen bases, and defense.
I think the game, I agree with you. I think the game does change.
I'll tell you what else is going to happen too for a lot of guys. One thing you don't want to do, and good managers don't do it, and of course Renteria is in that category of outstanding managers, is you can't ask somebody to do something they can't do. But I'll guarantee you, in spring training, these guys, some of these guys are going to learn how to bunt. Watch out.
Daniel Polka 4 for 13, 3 home runs and 9 driven in as a pinch hitter this year. So
He's
the
been
numbers,
one of the great surprises.
Numbers are lofty. Yeah, I mean, the year that he made for himself has just been astonishing.
21 homers. Wow.
Sox pen up and going. Couple of lefties, Jace Fry, Hector Santiago.
Daniel, one of the strongest guys in this game.
Well, the chain is sitting there doing nothing. Because there's been 4 hits, they've all been singles.
That's high and wide. 2-2 the count. It's full. And I would have to say odds are he's not going to get a thigh-high fastball. He might get one upstairs. It's either going to be hard high or slow low. Got him.
Got him on a straight change.
On the change up, slow low.
This one does have a piece of the plate. Kind of drifts back and catches a corner.
Except on a 3-2 count, that's a pretty good pitch to hit, really.
Yeah, it is.
But not on 3-2. All right, Timmy. Right man, right time, right place right here as he takes first pitch strike.
These two guys faced one another in the opener of the series on Friday night. It was the final out of the ball game, and Anderson grounded to third. That was then, and this is now.
Oh, nice play. Nice play by Justin Upton. Dadgummit. We're into the ninth, trailing 1-0.
Who's happy to be going to Kansas City because at Kauffman Stadium this year, hitting a robust .462, hit 7 home runs, driven in 12, just an amazing run in 7 games. 12 for 26, very happy to be going back to KC. Toyota, let's go places. Places Matt wants to go, KC. Hector Santiago comes in the ball game on for the 45th time. 5-3 ERA of .460. He's there to keep it at 1-0 and lock it down and turn it over to the offense.
Here's Jose Fernandez. Takes first pitch strike.
His opposite field base hit keyed the only inning that there's been a run in the entire ball game for either side.
Drop down.
Well, that was a rocket into the Sox dugout, and hopefully everybody's okay.
One 5-0 for them, 0-4-0 for us with a bunch of strikeouts both sides. It's full, no walks. batting.
Hey, Sox fans, win Papa John's Pizza all season long. The day after the Sox win, get 50% off your entire online order of regular menu priced items only at papajohns.com. Use promo code SOXWIN. It's valid at participating Papa John's locations. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Taylor Ward takes ball 1. Taylor 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. The Sox conclude this series as homestand. Steve just told you. Off to Kansas City for 3, Baltimore for 3, and Cleveland for 3, with a couple of off days in between. They come back 21st, 22nd, and 23rd against the Cubs. Walk to Ward. Caleb Cowart is fouled out to Castillo, struck out and walked. Big gap out there in right center. First pitch strike to Caleb. High and wide. Can't get that one. In case you're looking to ours, bottom half, Rondon, Ivy, and Davidson. He gone. 2 down. And if you're just tuning in, we've only had 2 men on base in 1 inning in this game.
That's been the dominance of this Angel staff to this point. Heaney was terrific, Buttrey for an inning, and we'll see what happens in the 9th.
And on the other side of that ledger, they've only had 2 men on in 1 inning. Ronaldo Lopez was just brilliant. Just absolutely. Just a preview of things to come for that young man. 6 innings, no runs, 2 hits, 10 strikeouts.
Blake Parker, who's the closer, starting to get loose. Become very difficult to hit anything with some spin on it.
Two balls, two strikes, two out here in the top of the ninth inning. Yeah, I'll tell you, old Yankee Stadium used to be famous for the shadows. Day games.
This time of year, these aren't too great either.
No. There he goes.
Back over our heads.
Nice gap out there in left center. Roseno. And that's out of play right side. If you're just getting home tuning in, this has just been a wonderful day. Everything except the score. Beautiful day here in the city, beautiful. And another foul off to the right side. There she is. City beautiful. Long look in. Too much time. And another foul.
The minimum of a 9-pitch at bat as Brasinio keeps fouling the ball off.
And the count goes full. And Cole Calhoun on deck. He is a lone RBI in this ball game. As we mentioned, he is a dangerous man. This is a guy you want right here. So, second walk of the inning.
Time now for a fourth drive of the game, and it comes off the bat of Cole Calhoun in the 7th inning. Opportunity to drive home a run, and he was able to do just that. Visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com.
Come on, it's a lefty. Take it.
All right, Hector, got to do a little chunking right here. Drops down and misses low and away.
Jose Ruiz warming in the pen.
That dropping down sometimes is effective. There's no question about that. But for the majority of times, especially with a pretty good hitter up there, anytime you drop down on him, the first thing pops in his mind when you see you drop down on him, it's going to be down. It's going to be low.
He'll be down, and most guys thinking fastball.
Yeah, it's going to be down. And then, you know, a lot of guys don't like for their pitchers to drop down except against certain hitters. Big hack. I tell you, for this guy to be hitting 223 at this point in the season.
He just literally got off to such a terrible start. He's tried to dig his way out and swinging it a lot better lately, but he buried himself early in this one.
He got a terrific swing. He does a lot of good things up there, so it must be obviously something in his approach that just hadn't been there this season, even though he's hit some home runs and driven in some runs. To me, this guy is a solid anywhere from 270, 290 hitter, 25, 30 home runs, close to 100 ribbies.
Don Cooper wanting to know if Ruiz is ready yet.
Just got a piece of it.
That one literally just missed, maybe an inch off the outside corner. Good slider if it was there. He had him.
So 2 on, 2 out, 3-2 the count. All right, good concept. Dino Abel, the third base coach, he's a good one. Right here, Hector. Right now. So he has walked the bases loaded. David Fletcher, 0 for 4 today, but he's made good contact a couple of times, and he's made contact all 4 times. One of the few guys not to strike out.
And Ricky Renteria is going to go to Ruiz in the pen, so that's going to be it for Santiago. And as he departs, so will we, as as Jose Ruiz comes into this with the bases loaded and no margin for error. We'll be back. Ruiz and Fletcher go head to head with the bases loaded.
Just pitch. Don't look around. Just pitch.
Big gap in right center.
All straight. Yeah.
And that's high, and that's a can of corn. So one pitch, and Ruiz gets the job done. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth. We need one to tie.
Going to have to go against their closer, Blake Parker. Parker on for the 62nd time. He's 2-1, his ERA of 3.23, 14 for 17 in save situations. Opponents hitting .232. And 66 strikeouts is 19 walks, and he's got a 1-run lead to protect. And Yolmer's going to lead it off.
So here's Yolmer. Jose Rondon, as I mentioned, 0 for 3 today. Outfield spread out about equidistant slightly to the left as there is first pitch strike. It's that breaking ball you're talking about. Can't see the spin on it.
Now, if you can get it close to the plate, it's going to be as unhittable as at any time.
Another one. And a count 0-2. Avi on deck. Davidson in the hole.
Parker last year was used as a closer for a bit, not entirely. 71 appearances, the .254 ERA. So a fine year, just the 8 saves, but only 40 hits and 67 2/3 for a man claimed off waivers the year before from Milwaukee.
.40 hits in how many innings?
67 1/3.
That'll work.
That's pretty good.
That young writer does.
86 strikeouts and 16 walks in 67 1/3
And they got him off waivers?
They got him off waivers the year before from Milwaukee.
That's some pretty good scouting there.
I would say so.
One and two the count to Sanchez. A little over 24,000 today. Why not on a beautiful day? Here's a good way to start it.
That was a straight change. So he threw him a few curveballs and 2 straight changes in a row, the second of which represents a tying run safely at first base. Yolmer takes it through the right side. Straight change, he waits back. No spin on it per se, and so Yolmer delivers.
Ivy. There's one of our hits today. We only have 5. Yeah, that is a mistake Sanchez took advantage of.
Well, now the visibility getting a little better for the hitter because now the pitcher and the hitter both immersed in the shadows. So
well,
things a little
it's
better.
100% better
Yeah.
than it was
Yeah.
10 minutes ago,
Yeah,
15
it is.
minutes ago. High pop up. Watch out. And now the ball is caught by Caleb Cowart. Tell you what, David Fletcher.
Well, it gives you an idea. I mean, we've been talking about the wind for the better part of 2 games here, and it is really howling as it gets upstairs. That was a towering pop-up, and the wind just kept on taking it. I mean, Fletcher thought he was going to make the play easily, and then trips right into Coward, who made the play easily. There's a lot of drifting.
Nose full of some sweaty undershirt there.
That looked like an old Candlestick Park type of play where the
Yeah.
ball went up and everybody thought he had it.
Good
Literally
call.
everybody thought he had
Yeah. I never played there, but I heard
it.
about it.
It was awful.
So here's Matt. A good friend of mine who played there for a number of years, Jimmy Ray Hart. Jimmy Ray said, Hawk, he said, you can't believe how hard that wind blows
No,
sometimes.
it was unbelievable.
Not 0 for 3 today. And the strike. 0-2. Castillo on deck. Just a short lead, decent lead by Yolmer. And ball gets all the way back to the backstop. Now, Yolmer in the second. Yes.
That's as wild a pitch as you're going to see. And now a base hit ties it. He just steers it right in the ground. It's in front of the plate. Brasinho has no chance whatsoever. And Yolmer scampers in a scoring position.
The 1-2 pitch. Watch out.
That hit him in the head.
So on a 1-2 count. Breaking ball just got away from him.
Clip the helmet. He's going to be okay. It'll bring Charles Nagy out from the dugout. He represents a winning run. Now we're going to see, and yes, there should be a pinch runner, and there is going to be. Kevin Smith comes on a pinch run.
So here's Wellington. He was lined to center, struck out, and popped up to center. That ball hit hard, center field. But they got a man there, and he can go get him. He was playing in a no double set.
Well, that's the second time today that Castillo has just murdered the baseball, only to hit it at Mike Trout. He lined out in the second inning. He lined out here in the ninth. This ball is crushed, but Trout coasting back to make the catch. On the play, Yolmer moves 90 feet away from tying it up. Looks like Nicky Delmonico to come out and pinch hit.
Come on, Nicky. One time, buddy. Or another wild pitch. Or pass ball.
One of the things they're talking about on the mound is what they're going to do if Kevin Smith takes off. What Brasinho wants to do with either the throw or the lack thereof. Now Ben May comes out to break it up and get back to action.
There's 6 ways to defend that, especially with not a speed thrown at first.
No.
So here's Nicky. And here comes Mike. One of the best managers in the game.
So Parker departs, as will we. We'll tell you who's coming in when we come back. Alvarez on for the 71st time we've seen him in the series. He's 5-3, his ERA of 2.61. But he's been called on to save 3 games. He hasn't saved a 1 yet, despite opponents hitting just 226. The fans aren't quitting. Ricky certainly won't, and it's up to Nicky Delmonico to keep this ball game extended. Or he can end it with 1 swing if he'd like. There is the tying run. Gomer with a leadoff single.
29-year-old southpaw out of Venezuela. Oh, he had a good pitch to hit, made a good pass at it.
He got his slider that hung on the inside part.
Oh, Lordy.
That's the one, if you're looking for a slider, this is the one you'd order up. One that just hangs inside.
He was all over it, just underneath it. Wow. And he had another pretty good pitch hit right there.
Same slider, same spot.
Wow.
So he's thrown 2 and pretty much hung them both. Nicky 1 for 5 as a pinch hitter this year, and he has driven in a run.
Deep in the count. Outfield slightly to the left, spread out. And that pitch down low. Throw in the dirt.
It's like another slider.
A little emergency type action there by Nicky.
Justifiably so. That ball was in the zone. He was able to battle and just barely keep the at bat alive.
Short and quick, buddy. Short and quick. A big hole over there between first and second. And they ring him up. And this ball game is over. So the Angels come in here, sweep our Sox, and we'll be back.